Should we choose this or that? Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris and today's video is a bookish this or that. Before we jump into today's video, do make sure you're checking out the description box down below for links to my Discord and social media should you want to come along and join in the conversation over there. So I got this idea from a friend of mine who tags me in a lot of these bookish this or that tags over on Instagram, and her name is Stacey RZ Reads, and I'll pop her link down below. Really wonderful human being, and like I said, tags me in a lot of these. So I did reach out to her and say, hey, I'm not ignoring you, I'm just going to put this in a video so that people can follow along with me rather than doing it over on Bookstagram. So what I have today is I think 4 or 5 different bookish this or that, or bookish would you rather templates that I'm going to go through and talk about my answers. Now each of these templates will have the tag of the person who created it, and I will go and find their Instagram links and pop them down below as well, just to make sure we're giving credit where credit is due. So I have a few of these. Like I said, a couple of them are themed, or at least one of them is themed that I can remember from the pictures that I have taken. I'm going to put the pictures up on the screen and then go through my answers. That being said, they all do follow a fairly similar format, so there are going to be double ups which I'll just skim over if we do have them. Jumping right into it, we have our first template here, and I will pop the link or the tag to that person down below. Bookish this or that by moeunstreasures. moeunstreasures. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. That is the first one we're going. So the first one is coffee or tea. I am an avid drinker of both. I do really like tea, but I normally drink iced tea in the summers because there are so many wonderful things that you can do with tea flavors. But every day I am a coffee drinker. I normally have 2 cups a day. No one cares. Moving on. The next one is paperback or hardcover. Unpopular bookish opinion, I prefer paperbacks, hands down. I am not a huge fan of reading hardcovers. They look lovely on the shelf, and every so often I'll fork out because I love a cover and I want that hardcover on the shelf. I will generally read those books in an e-format and then not actually read the physical book. The exception would be the Ezek the Rising and Heart of the Bloodstone, because I paid so much money for those hardcovers and I'm like, I'm not paying more money for them, I'll just read the ones that I have. But I find them a little bit difficult to read and like open without breaking anything to do with the spine, and like you just want your hardbacks to look pristine. So I'm not a huge collector of special editions or anything like that comes out in hardbacks. I do love a good paperback. Next up we have Kindle or Audible. Now I would say I use both, but I probably read on Kindle more. I like Audible, but I'm very, very slow when it comes to listening to ebooks. I generally take about 2 weeks per ebook, and if it is a particularly long ebook, if we're getting upwards of, let's say, 30 hours, that will take me a full month. I, on average, will listen to a book about an hour a day. There are a couple of days a week where I do some driving to go to the other side of town, and I'll get more listening time, and that makes up for weekends when I don't really listen at all. But I actually find I read faster in an e-format, so a Kindle or PDF, if someone has sent me a book in a PDF version, faster than anything else. The next one we have is BookTok or Bookstagram. I'm too old for TikTok. I don't understand how it works. Unless there's a dog or some sort of cute animal in a TikTok, I might care, but other than that, I don't. I am Bookstagram all the way. Then we have Goodreads or Storygraph. Now, I like both for different reasons. I predominantly use Goodreads because it is easier for me to keep track of, but I really love that Storygraph breaks down the data, and you can actually see a whole bunch of data at any point of the year. You can go in and have a look at the breakdown of what you're reading depending on what you're looking for, and I appreciate Storygraph a heck of a lot for doing that and just breaking the mold a little bit, but I probably use Goodreads more. The last one on this list is nighttime or daytime reads. I am a day reader. Damn, that traffic is loud. I am a daytime reader. I am pathetic at night, so I'm very much a morning person personally. I will get up early, do my stuff and then read during the day. I do read before bed, but bedtime for me is like 8:30, 9 p.m. If I'm tired, I'm going to bed, and normally that's when I'll start getting tired, is 8:30 to 9 p.m. in the evening. So that is the first one. Thank you, moeunst. Thank you to this person for bringing up a bookish this or that. Let's move on to one of the others. Alright, we have a reading habits this or that by word_wandering. And if I can find them, I'll pop them down below. A couple of these I've already done. So daytime, nighttime, daytime reader. Do I picture everything or picture nothing? I am blessed to be a visual reader. I generally will picture everything that I am reading. There has been very few books that I've not been able to picture the atmosphere and the characters, and I'm a visual reader. Background noise or silence? I'm definitely one for silence. I do not like any noise around me when I'm reading a book. It just distracts me, so I'm not someone who can sit there with the television on. I can't have the radio on. I can't even have instrumental music or lo-fi or chill vibes happening on in the background. I just cannot concentrate, and it's the same when I write. If I'm writing, it has to be dead silence. The next one we have laying down or sitting. Both, I guess. I tend to lie on my stomach with like a pillow under me, and that's when I will get sucked into a book and I will read more lying like that until my back is like, please sir, stop. And then sitting down, I have an armchair which the dog uses, so I sit there sometimes when I'm not bullied out of it by the dog. Physical book versus ebook and audiobook. So I guess it's a little bit different to the one we just did. This one is interesting because I prefer to read a physical book. I do love the feel of the book in my hand. I particularly love secondhand books that are a little bit beaten up, that have like that musty book smell and like a pre-love feel to them. Absolutely love reading a physical book. There is something magical about sitting down and like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and just going through pages physically. That being said, I read faster when I read ebooks, and I think that's just to do with like seeing the percentage or how long you've got left in a chapter down in the corners, and that like eggs me on to keep reading for the day. So I tend to churn through books faster in ebooks, but I prefer reading physical books. Cozy blanket versus no blanket. No blanket. Real big on the no touch. Don't like touching. But sometimes when it's cold and it's rainy, you do want a blanket, but then I get annoyed at the blanket and I kick it off. So let's go let's go no blanket for that one. Drink tea or coffee or drink alcohol. I mean, I drink all of those, but when it comes to reading, if I have more than one glass of whiskey or a glass of wine or a beer, I can't concentrate and I won't read. So I'm very much a warm beverage reader, and then in the summer it'll just be a glass of water. But generally no alcohol if I'm reading, unless it's like one glass of whiskey which I sip for like a whole hour, and then that's it. And fuzzy socks or no socks? No socks. No socks. Not when reading, your feet sweat. I live in Australia, it's like 4,000 degrees here at all times. Alright, moving on. Thank you, word_wandering, for that, this or that template. Alright, we're jumping into a themed this or that. This one is by Scones.and.Literature. What a delightful name. And this is a Jane Austen edition. I've not read any Jane Austen. This could be fun. So let's jump into it. Longbourn or Hartfield? I believe these are both houses in Jane Austen books. I think Longbourn is Pride and Prejudice. There is a spin-off of Pride and Prejudice called Longbourn. So let's go with that's the house. Someone who's read Jane Austen can correct me down below. And I'm pretty sure that Hartfield is... I want to say Emma. And I'm more interested in reading Emma than I am in reading Pride and Prejudice. So we'll go with Hartfield, assuming that that is the correct house and the correct book that I've referenced. Next, Gothic novels with Catherine Morland or romantic poetry with Anne Elliot. I have no idea who those people are, but Gothic novels, 100%, romance is dead. I don't want it. Long walks or being driven in a carriage? Walks, 100%. Love a good walk. Being driven in a carriage, I just feel bad for like the horses, or, you know, I would go out and walk with them. A man who reads poetry to you, or a man who understands Muslin. What is muslin? Hang on. Break to look things up. Like muslin wraps? It's a cotton fabric of plain weave and is... I don't know if we're talking about the right thing. Let's move on from that. I don't know, I don't want a man to read poetry to me because I would just laugh at them and feel bad because I was giggling. Party at Bath or relax at your family's estate? Relax. Relax at my family's estate. I don't want to party, I don't want to be around people. Dancing, even if one's partner is barely tolerable. Or picnicking, even if your companions say things that are very dull indeed. I mean, I'm going to go with picnicking because at least there'll be food. And I do enjoy eating, so we'll go with picnicking. I can ignore people, I can tune them out and think of things in my head. Normally it's a book, I think about what's happening in a book. I am so nerdy. And I'm glad that I found other friends to be nerdy with. And the last one here is, if I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. Or, you pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. I assume these are quotes from the book. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. Maybe I don't want to read Jane Austen. There's some pretty heavy feelings there. I think I like You Pierce My Soul, I am half agony, half hope more. Someone let me know where that's from. Lot of love. Lot of love. Too much love. Let's move on. Okay, we have a bookish Would You Rather. This one doesn't have a name attributed to it, so I apologize to whoever made this. I don't know who you are, but thank you for creating it. So, bookish Would You Rather, number 1. Would you rather live in your favourite book, but the main character hates you, or your favourite book character is real, but they're actually super annoying? Jeez. I think my favourite book might be The Stand from Stephen King, and I do not want to live in that world, so I guess my favourite book character is real, but they're actually super annoying, and I cannot think who my favourite character is of all time. I read a lot of books, so I don't know, but that's the one that we're going with. Would you rather never be able to finish a series or never reread your favourite books? Oh, I would rather never reread my favourite books. I'm not a huge rereader. I'm only just learning that it is okay to revisit things, but I generally do not reread, so that one I would rather. Would you rather be in charge of deciding how your favourite series ends, or how your favourite author's next book starts? I don't want to be in charge of either of those things, because it's not up to me, and that's the fun of reading. Somebody else takes the reins, and you get to be happy or upset, you know. I think I would rather be in charge of how my favourite author's next book starts, because I think there's a lot of anticipation, particularly if you're someone waiting on the next book in a series. You always sort of think, hey, I would really love this to start this way, and how cool would it be if this happened? So we're going to go with that one. Would you rather secretly love a book that everyone else hates, or secretly hate a book that everyone else loves? I think I would not be secret about it at all, but I would love a book that everyone else hates. I am waiting for that to happen. Can't wait. But that's the one I would choose. Would you rather have dinner with your favourite author or have dinner with your favourite character? I definitely think have dinner with my favourite author, but then I would get really shy and not talk to them. So that would be fun. It would be a real awkward dinner, and I'd just like giggle and probably spill some sort of beverage down my face because I'm actually a goober. Next up, have your favourite book turned into a movie, or have your favourite movie turned into a book? Oh, I honestly do not watch a whole lot of movies. I like going to the movies, but that is the only time I really will watch a movie. I don't tend to sit down and watch them. It's one of the reasons I still haven't watched Lord of the Rings. Yes, I know, I promise I will do it at some point in my life, but it will have to be in hour increments. There's a lot of footage to get through. I think I would prefer to have my favourite movie turn into a book, because it would be a movie that I'm like, oh, I wanted to see that and never saw it, and then if the book came out, I'd just read the book. Would you rather read a book with an annoying cliffhanger or read a book where your favorite character is killed off? I would rather read a book where my favorite character is killed off, because I think that some of those moments are the most moving moments ever in series, and it has happened to me before, and they're gut-wrenching, but the impact that they have is incredible to experience once you get over the the devastation. Would I rather live in a library or live in a bookstore? Rather live in a library. I think there is a range of books and people that come into libraries that are just as nerdy as I am, and it's always a churn, and there are books always coming in and always going out, and you get to see new stuff as well as old stuff and favourites and what people really love, and I think that would be lovely. Would I rather read by a fireplace or read on a beach? I don't want sand as a bookmark, I'd rather read by a fireplace. And would I rather to read only series or read only standalones? I think as a fantasy reader, I would want to read only series, because you get so invested, and a lot of fantasy series like follow a fairly similar formula, where book one you meet the characters and you sort of set up a little bit of what's happening, but then you get into the meat of the series. And in my opinion, you know, if you have a trilogy, books 2 and 3 are really where it takes off. Or if you have a long-standing series, you get all of this world to explore, and that's absolutely amazing. So I'd rather read only series. That was pretty fun. I'm going to cap it at that, otherwise this video will be super long. If you do want to see any more of these, let me know, and I'm sure I can work one into the schedule. If you had a good time and you liked the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.